In a dramatic turn of events, this week's top 10 for the reserve list is likely going to shock a lot of Magic the Gathering and reserve list fans alike. So stay tuned for today's video. You don't want to miss what's going to happen because this one may be one for the record books. Guys, this is your top 10 from August 19th to the 26th, 2024. Hey guys, welcome back to another installment of the Reserve List Top 10, the hottest selling cards on the reserve list this week. And a reminder, if you enjoyed today's content, don't worry, I'll have another video tomorrow as I put out new content every single day. If you want to support my channel, you can use my TCG Player affiliate link found in the description of this video. If you click the link and you do your shopping on TCG Player, the channel gets a kickback. Let's drop in to the number 10 card. This is Wheel of Fortune from Revised. This card has an average price tag of $297.97. It had 20 sales this week. That is $5,959.40. And as a revised quality card from back in the day, there's a lot of copies still floating out there, but this is no longer a $5, $10 card. $297 is still 50% off of what it used to cost. Now, Wheel of Fortune is a 1 red, 2 other sorcery that says all players must discard their hands and draw 7 new cards. That means Commander players love to have this in their staple of cards to own because you never know when you're going to need it. You might as well buy a copy if you can find one cheap. Copies selling are from near mint all the way through to heavily played, even damaged. It's whatever you can take to get a card that looks like it's sleeve playable. That's what players are buying. Let's drop into the number 9 card this week. That's Copy Artifact as well from Revised Edition. With an average price tag of $48.33, that's only a total sales volume of $1,063.26 because it only had 22 sales. Now the copies that we're selling this week were moderately played and heavily played copies, which only cost them around $35 to $36. So what does Copy Artifact do? Now, as a 1 blue, 1 other enchantment, it says select any artifact in play. This enchantment acts as a duplicate of that artifact. It is affected by cards that affect artifacts or enchantments. The copy remains even if the original is destroyed, but enchantments on the original artifact, of course, are not copied. A lot of players seek this card out. Amy Weber did great artwork on it, and this is a card right now that is very affordable. It's off the far cry of $150 it used to be. Looking for a heavily played copy for around $30. It's a steal of a deal, guys. And yes, a lot of people own copies, so you should probably get at least 1 copy if you can afford to do so. Now, stopping at number 8 this week, we are going to have Season of the Witch. This was here last week, following that Halloween theme. This card also only had 22 sales this week, which puts it at $501.60 with an average price tag of $22.80 per copy. Now, this one has been as high as around $90 US. Finding it at this price tag is a pretty good steal of a deal. A lot of players do enjoy trying to make this card work. So what do we get? It is a 3 black casting cost enchantment. When you look at the card, it says at the end of each player's turn, all of his or her untapped creatures that could have attacked but did not do so are destroyed. If you do not pay 2 life during your upkeep, Season of the Witch is destroyed. Effects that prevent or redirect this loss of life cannot be used to counter it. I get it, guys, it's an amazing card, but a lot of players don't like it having to force their creatures to attack, but having your opponents be forced to attack is an amazing steal. You love just making sure you mess those creatures up, especially ones that they don't want to attack with. At this price tag, I can see why players are buying it. Now, jumping into our number 7 card this week, we are talking about City of Solitude, and that's from Visions. This card is only $11.94, but it only had 23 sales this week. That's only $274.62. You're probably noticing in the theme of this video now, the sales overall are really low for the reserve list. And at the end of my video, I'm going to talk about that a bit, so don't worry, we're not going to forget what's happening. I just got to keep the information going right now. So when we look at City of Solitude, that is a 1 green, 2 other casting cost enchantment. And this card does state that each player may only play spells and abilities during their turn, which means they're not going to be countering your stuff. They're not going to be messing you up. This is a good card for those players who like to control their own turn and make sure nobody's messing with their stuff. Very understandable, and it actually eliminates the need for you to play with counter spells because you can't counter other people's turns anyway. I love this card. I can see why players are buying it at this reduced price point right now. It's been a pretty respectable card in some decks, so I'd like to see people use more of it, but for now I think let's take advantage of the low price tag and maybe grab 1 or 2 if you don't own one already. Now for our next card, we're going back to revised again because this is Brain Geyser. $13.95 is a very inexpensive card for a near mint quality copy. 25 sales this week, which is $348.75, guys. This is an incredibly powerful card. It does see old school play. It is a 2 blue and X. Don't forget, this is a sorcery, and the artwork on this thing is iconic. But yes, there's lots of copies because it's from revised. There's a lot available. A lot of players being very picky, and they are grabbing the near mint quality copies right now because it does state that target player must draw X cards. That's easy to say it. Target player. They don't get the option of drawing. They must draw those cards. And if you have things that are going to damage them for drawing or do crazy things like with Shieldred, there's a lot of fun stuff out there for commander players even. So I understand why people are buying it. There's not a lot of copies selling right now. There's something going on. It's a little bit nutty, but let's jump over here. This is Griffin Canyon, and we are now stopping in divisions. Again, $11.92. This card has seen a bit of a bump up on the whole Final Fantasy theme. 27 sales this week, which is $441.04. Okay, not a big volume of cards moving. This isn't like it sold a couple hundred copies. Right now, the market looks like it's very repressed and very down on reserve list cards, especially comparing the last 3 weeks where we saw tremendous sales. Now, Griffin Canyon is just a land card that adds 1 colorless mana to your mana pool, but it can untap a target Griffin, and that Griffin gets +1/+1. Don't forget, shapeshifters and the like get affected by it as well because they count as every creature type, which is kind of nice. But I look at this card and I say, if Final Fantasy pans out the way players want, somebody's probably going to get rich. Zubri is really slowed down as well. People have got a tasting now. They own a few copies, and the market's gone silent on these cards. Now let's jump in. We're going to go over here and we're going to take a look at, of course, Forsaken Waste. $33.16 is still the average price for this card. It is finally starting to come down, but it's going down very slowly. Now, the 38 sales represents $1,260.08 to take the number 4 slot on the list this week. When you look at Forsaken Waste being used with the Duskmourn Commander deck, the Punishment deck, it's crazy, okay? It's a very powerful card in that deck, and the amount of copies we sold early really made me think the price would come down a lot faster, and in this case, this Enchant World has not. Target players cannot gain life. During each player's upkeep, that player loses 1 life, and if Forsaken Waste is the target of a successfully cast spell, the caster of that spell loses 5 life. Players not gaining life is huge, right? All the target players in the game. You're playing Commander, nobody's gaining life until that thing's gone. An insane card. And when you pair it with other more powerful kind of look-alike cards, you can see how people can really mess them up. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the number 3 card this week, and it is Sands of Time from Visions. An unexpected guy jumping onto the list here. $2.48 is the average. 87 sales only represents $215.76. This isn't a lot of money moving the market. This isn't the needle jumping off the plate. But as a 4 casting cost artifact, you kind of wonder, do people even play with this card? Like, what are they getting this card for? Let's take a closer look, because this is, I've always enjoyed the artwork, but I've never actually used this card. It says, each player skips his or her untap phase. At the beginning of each player's turn, untap each tapped artifact, creature, and land he or she controls, and tap each untapped artifact, creature, and land he or she controls. So you're kind of reversing them back and forth. It's kind of messed up, right? It's one of those things you're like, what are we doing now? What trigger are we doing? Like, how did this just happen? So I guess this is a fun factor, or maybe somebody's got some ideas for what's going to happen in the future. Now let's go ahead, let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 this week is, of course, Kevak's Spite. Now this is Visions, okay? When you see this card, 92 sales. That's only $322. This card averages $3.50, not a high price target. And it's one of those cards, again, as an instant, you got to pay attention because instant cards can do crazy things. And in the right build at the right time, it maybe is going to work for that person. So what does it do? It is a 3 black mana casting. It is an instant with some cool artwork, and it says, sacrifice all permanents. Discard your hand. Target player loses 5 life. So as an end of measure card, it means you're going to be able to eliminate your opponent. If you got him down to 5 life, you can take him out by sacking everything you've got. I can only imagine this as a desperation card, or maybe you've got some way of clearing the whole battlefield because it's sacrificing all permanents, and that just blows my mind. But I would love to see what somebody's doing with this. If somebody can give me some comments in the comments section explaining this one to me, I would be curious to know. Now, number 1 this week, it is Delfs Cube. That's right, I said it, Delfs Cube. Fallen Empires. It had 409 sales this week. That's only $404.91 because this card is a 99-cent card. Now, this is a single casting cost artifact from Fallen Empires, guys. You're wondering as much as me, who's having some fun? Who wanted to do a buyout of the Delfs Cube? It's happened before. It's going to happen again. Now, what does it do? As an artifact, it has 2 in tap. If target creature you control attacks and is not blocked, it deals no combat damage to an opponent. Instead, put a cube counter on Delfs Cube. Then 2, remove a cube counter to regenerate target creature. It's actually not the worst ability. It takes a lot of work to get there. If you can hit with some low-level creatures, I can see how this might work for certain players to try to regenerate and keep commanders and keep cards alive. Am I surprised by the sales? Yes, I am. And if you're the one who did it, reach out and contact my channel. We got to have a talk. Now let's get to the wrap-up. A lot of you out there right now are wondering what just happened to the sales in the reserve list. It's like they fell off the face of the earth. They collapsed into nothingness. The strong sales we saw the last 2 weeks running have evaporated to nothing. The money dried up, everybody moved on, and nobody cares again. I couldn't believe the drop off on the reserve list. Some dual lands didn't sell. We had nothing moving. Guys, the fact that nothing was going kind of shocks me a bit, considering we saw that little bit of an uptick in the amount of sales and interest we had over the last couple of weeks. But maybe this will be a good thing in the longer run with some prices dropping down to a more affordable level. The good news is a lot of the cards we saw right now were already at low levels, right? They didn't cost a lot. And some of the players out there who may be desiring certain combo cards that will fit together with commander decks, if you've watched my previous videos, pay attention, because those cards are likely to suffer from this shortfall. If nothing moves and there's no interest, some of these cards, when people want to move them, they lower the prices down, the interest dies down, prices drop down even further, and it makes a perfect buying point for certain players out there who don't care if it's near mint or just want playable copies to put into a commander deck. This market is probably going to stay this way. If this is what happened right now, and with all the interest kind of fading off to what happened at Comic-Con, which of course I'll address in tomorrow's video, this is insane to think what's going to happen going forward, because we don't know. Well, you know what? We'll save that for tomorrow's video. We'll save that. Anyway, thanks again for stopping by the channel. Thanks for being here, guys. I look forward to seeing you on the live stream, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time tonight. If you're watching this video, it's on a Sunday. I always put it out, and that means we have a live stream every Sunday. And of course, shop smart, shop best smart. We will see you guys tomorrow with another video. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons of my channel. Because of these amazing patrons, daily uploaded content, you know, it's going to happen every single day. It's amazing. Either way, we're closer to Halloween. Scary things are going to happen before you know it. But you know what? Because of these patrons, YouTube membership members, we're going to keep on making content. Even if I get hunted down by Jason or Freddy, I'm still going to be here. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Well. Welcome back, friends. You've made it. You've arrived. Backstage access to the Ramble and the Jamble. And yes, the magnets are being made as we speak. Sorry, I'm a little bit thirsty, a little dry throat today. Bear with me. I like what's happening on the market. I like when people ignore cards that I want to get access to. I love that cards get a little bit cheaper and a little bit ignored. Because when that next FOMO event happens, and it will, if you manage to get some of these cards cheap, you're the one who comes out ahead. You buy the playset you need for yourself, you keep 1 or 2 extras around in case you want to trade them in or sell them, and you hit that next high. Could be 6 months from now, it could be a year or 2 from now, who knows? But you're ready for where other players are not. Pay attention to some of those cards that had mega highs and stuff, because some of those cards are going to go cheaper and allow you to get access. Seeds of Innocence, right? Eater of All, those kind of things have come around. Those are ones you want to focus on, pay attention. Winding Canyons, Griffin Canyon, some of those can wait, let them dip a little bit lower. If Final Fantasy shares any crazy Griffin cards, though, the world's going to go off the map. Get a playset of Zubri for a couple of bucks, call it a day, and before you know it, we'll be back talking about this, and we'll kind of be gloating, hopefully. Hopefully. If not, we still have a great collection of reserve list cards we don't care about, but we just own them because they're awesome. Anyway, I love when people ignore this stuff. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Wait, my coffee's here. You didn't think I was going to leave without my coffee? No. Coffee's coming with me. Ramble, jamble.